Welcome back, everyone. You're looking live at President Trump arriving at the United Nations. He and the First Lady getting ready to go up the escalator there. The president is set to address the United Nations General Assembly here in just moments. It is 9:49. He is scheduled to speak at 9:50 a.m. Eastern time. So he's probably going to go directly to the podium to address the United Nations General Assembly. We're hearing, that his remarks will involve pushing back against globalist institutions across the world. The president will also talk about American exceptionalism and, of course, highlight his America First agenda during these remarks. Again, there you see the president shaking hands as he enters the United Nations General Assembly in preparation for his remarks to the UNGA. As we continue to watch this, let's bring in David and Dr. Gina as well. David, you were saying there are a number of things you're going to be looking for in the speech, but also on the sidelines of this speech, he's going to be meeting with a number of world leaders, specifically Arab leaders. I think that's potentially the bigger story that's coming out of today.
It will be the bigger story, and I think we'll have more details in the morning on the show for sure. I just, on an aesthetic standpoint, I thought it was interesting. Was he walking up the escalator?
Yeah. Was it broken? That was so bizarre. I noticed the same thing.
I mean, we give them $10 billion. We give the UN $10 billion. Can we get a working escalator? But anyhow, that's a little separate thing. Look, he's going to be railing against global institutions, and guess what? He's speaking to a, wait for it, global institution.
A global institution.
So, yeah, right. So I mean, basically, he's going to be criticizing the UN, and he'll do it in a typical Trump way, which is no nonsense, not holding back, but also understanding the moment. And he has decorum as well when he needs to have the decorum. He'll do what he needs to do, but he will tell the truth for sure, and he'll do it boldly, Dr. G.
And Gina, he's going to be speaking to an adversarial crowd. It's not like this is a crowd that's pro-Trump.
They're adversarial, Terrence, but they respect him. It's not like it was in his first term. Certainly not when old Sleepy Joe got dusted out and dragged up there. Couldn't have made it up the escalator, though. Hate to say it,
True.
Joe Biden could not have made it up that escalator. He'd have had to stop halfway down and halfway up, and who knows what would have happened if that had happened to Joe.
Take the elevator.
Exactly. That had to take him back down and cart him off. Who knows? But no. So you have him coming in from such a position of strength that, they don't need to like you, but they need to respect you. And I really think that's the situation that President Trump comes into. And they know that he's going to be uncompromising where America's best interest is concerned. And I think that is it just everything feels so different than it felt with Biden there, knowing we were wholly unprotected and had nobody really on our side. This is just feels a lot better. And they can't bully him. They're not going to mess with him. They can't mess with him. He outsmarts them. He outstrengths them. I don't think that's a word, but if it were, he would do it. And he's generally made a better stuff than that entire institution, as you put it, David, that he's rallying against to the institution.
I want to know what his tone and language are going to be when it comes to the Palestinian statehood issue, because he could get up there and say, we have a fundamental disagreement, okay, and that's kind of like the mid-range stuff. Or is he going to go much further than that? Is he going to say, what you all are doing, not that he would say it like that, but what you folks are doing here is abhorrent, is wrong. And I don't think he's going to go that far, but I do think the question is how far will he go in calling out these countries? That's what I'm going to be looking for specifically.
Well, when he's in front of people that he likes and agrees with, that's when he tends to yell and use harsher language. It's interesting. Yeah. It's almost a reverse psychology. When he's in front of people that he doesn't really respect or like, he tends to kind of give it this, y'all are going to do this. And it's kind of a very chilled, relaxed, kind of almost a bureaucratic tone, Terrence.
You know, one of the things that I've noticed is, yeah, we take a lot and look at what President Trump says, but I like to look at what his counterparts are saying, whoever's sitting across from him. In his presence, they say one thing and they're very conciliatory, but then behind closed doors or in public when they're away from him, they have policies and they say things that I feel like counter what they've said publicly alongside him. Am I seeing that wrong, or do you guys see that as well? And it's kind of angering.
What, two-faced politicians?
Okay, fair enough. But I think you get my point, Dr. Gina. Fair enough.
But are you talking, when you say counterparts, are you talking about other world leaders?
I'm talking about other
specifically?
world
And who are
leaders,
you
even
talking
Keir
about exactly?
You can go down the list. You can go with Keir Starmer. You can go with the Vander chick from the European Union. You can go with pretty much anyone who, I guess Vander chick. The news guy calls her the Vander chick. Sorry.
Yeah, NATO is not happy with you right now, just so you know.
I know it. I can't think Vanderland, whatever her name is. But you get the point.
You better keep your day job, because NBC is never hiring you after you said the Vander chick.
I know. I know. But to my point, you know, there are a number of world leaders, pretty much anyone that President Trump has met with in the Oval Office or no matter where, when they're sitting alongside President Trump, they're saying all the right things. They tend to agree with him. Even if he says something that, you know, they don't agree with, they tend to yield. And then publicly, when they're on their own, or when they're, particularly when you're talking about the European leaders, when they're together, they say all these things that seem to counter their posture with President Trump. Go ahead. What were you saying, David? Were you responding there? I'm sorry.
Look, ultimately, I said I was going to say it doesn't matter. Is he coming? You say we got to go. Is he coming to the podium yet? All right. Well, let me know when he does. But ultimately, look, it doesn't matter, because Trump knows that the ultimate Trump card is that he controls the situation, and that countries need the United States more than we need those countries. And that's all that matters. So they can say whatever they want behind closed doors, but so what? Then it's just a bunch of, you know, school kids in 5th grade complaining because they didn't get the peanut butter and jelly sandwich today. It doesn't matter, Gina.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm personally looking forward to whatever posturing President Trump does. I see this as almost comedic, because the UN is so deplatformed at this point in the United States. People don't listen to them. They make no difference. My dad was a big liberal, as many of you in the audience know. We used to go back and forth on this all the time. My dad thought the UN was the solution. And a lot of liberals really, truly feel this way, David. You talk to them every day, living among the Beltway types, and they really believe that the UN should be given ultimate power to control all the nations, and that if we would just submit to the power of the UN, the world would be at peace and it would be a better place. It's such a fallacy. It's as absolutely fantastical as communism. It sounds so good. It doesn't work. It's fantasy. And but a lot of liberals really do subscribe to this. So these people deem themselves very important. Most of us never heard of them, and they make no real difference in our life. And I can tell you, the average American doesn't even know this is happening, and honestly doesn't care much.
Oh, they don't care. They don't care, and good for them.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, when I say good for them, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm interested, and we're all interested to hear what President Trump has to say, because, you know, he's not only just a world leader, but he is the world leader. When I say the world leader, I mean the United States is, the best country in the world. So we care from that standpoint. But I guarantee you, sitting around the dinner table today saying, hey, did you hear the UN General Assembly met today?
Yeah.
That's
people
not
who
happening.
teach in universities and ivory towers are the only ones who are going to be having that conversation, the only ones who care, and no one listens to them either. Guess what? And I'll tell you who else doesn't really care what any of these people have to say, and that's President Trump.
President Trump. Agreed.
That's
Agreed.
true. That's true.
He's going to move forward as he decides to move, and he is coming to this meeting with the interests of America first. That really is the only thing he cares about, and I think that's justifiably so, that he's going to put the interests of the American people first, that he's going to put the interests of this country first. And even in those sideline conversations, I'm really curious to see how that looks. I'm curious to see what posture he takes, but more importantly, what comes out of those conversations. I'm really hoping that there will be results, some tangible results that come out of those conversations.
Have we ever seen tangible results come out of the UN? Asking for
No.
a friend. I mean, really, have we ever?
No. No.
But have we
No.
also often seen, and I'll say often, seen President Trump come in with this sort of influence? And I think that's what makes today a little bit different, is that President Trump is there. He's got some experience under his belt. And when he speaks, everyone else shuts up and listens.
That's right. Well, speaking of, when War Room comes on, everybody shuts up and listens too. And that is coming up next, you guys. Our time to talk is over, but we will be back with you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., 7 a.m. for the early show with Jake Novak. War Room, as I said, coming up next with the great Steve Bannon. Hug your children, love your God, go boldly now, live the truth.